Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm sharing one of my practice sessions of the polka as I would out upon the ice. I recently introduced this polka, so I'll stick a link here at the top and at the end of this video so that you could access the original where I introduced the tune if you haven't seen that yet. I'll also add a link at the top of the notes to this video to the page of my website from which you could download the music and tabs if you've not done that yet. And for this practice session, I'm going to be using the MK Pro Low D and the Tony Dixon DX005 High D. And I've not played this one for us all yet, and I'll be introducing it and comparing it with some other whistles pretty soon for us. Now, I've talked about my practice sessions and how I handle them a lot, but I know some of you are brand new. So what I generally do is I work on the core of the tune. It's important to get the core of the tune down. I'm already pretty much there with this one. Then I begin adding in ornamentation. And I've got this process where I learn the core of the tune, I start adding ornamentation, I pick up the pace, I make sure I still have the core of the tune at that new pace. I add in some more ornamentation, and I listen to a bunch of people playing it, and groups particularly, and people with other instruments, and to see what they're doing with it. And then I try and decide what I want to incorporate, what I want to set aside. And one of my rules is when ornamenting a tune, don't obliterate the core of the tune. Ornamentation and expression are intended to highlight what the tune itself is already doing. And so you're ornamenting to accentuate something about that tune. And so with this one, for example, it's a polka. And polkas are pretty quick things. And so you've got a bouncy dance feel to it. Now, one quick thing before I start playing it is about that pace. So it's in 2/4 time, and so that's kind of like cut time, and so you're going to be pretty quick. So just doing it straight, a lot of recommendations say, I have a metronome on my iPad here, a lot of recommendations say that you're going to play this between 120 and 130 beats per minute. And so here's 120. Okay, that's how that goes. Now, let me move that up to 130. And that's a lot quicker. Now, what's crazy is here's the range at which I've heard this, because that's the norm. You get into a session and people get really excited and carried away, and you start hearing crazy things. I have heard I was listening to a group of fiddle players, and they weren't getting too carried away. Remember, it's a fast polka. Polkas are pretty quick. And this group of fiddle players were playing it at 138 beats per minute. Woo! On the other extreme, I heard somebody playing it as just a thoughtful tune, which I thought was kind of funny. And they were playing it it was just really slow and thoughtful. So anyway, you work on that like you want. Those are suggestions. One note on the speed. I always say play as you can, not as you can't. That's so important. If you can play the tune at that pace, then ornament it at that pace, and then start building from there. Be happy with where you are. Anyway, I'm going to start walking through on the MK Pro, and I'll put links in the notes to this video to some great places to pick up either of these whistles. If you don't have them yet, Everybody wants a lot of whistles, right? So I'm not encouraging you to spend money. Stay in your budget. But get good whistles. So practicing with the MK Pro. All right, so I know the core of the tune, and I've listened to a number of folks play it, and I've experimented some with ornamentation. So the very first thing is the very first thing. Dear goodness me. Bad dad jokes. So you could start off, you don't just want to start off. You probably want to punch that entry. The thought is, how do you want to punch that entry? You've got to decide that for yourself. I've got 3 options I'll suggest. I've heard all of them. The first is a strong, quick slide into it, but the tune starts on a 2nd octave E, so you're going to have to slide strong from the D. And for this tune, the way I've heard a lot of people play it, very strong slides, some rolls, some cuts, but mainly a lot of combo ornaments like a roll. I've heard a lot of tonguing from folks, and I find that good because you create a strong glide in with the slide. You create good transitional feel with the cuts and the rolls, and then the tonguing helps you get the bounciness in some of that. Those are my current thoughts. I'm not saying I won't change my mind later. So, strong slide in, or you could just strong tongue. I'm not as huge a fan on the strong tonguing because I feel like you pay more attention to another ornament in that instance. Or it's a great opportunity to start with like a strong combo ornament, like a roll there, and then go to the slide. Because I don't like to repeat too many ornaments. I feel like I'm all over the map if I'm just using the tune as a vehicle to repeat ornaments. So change things up. Well, if I do that though, if I start off with the roll, then I could do that. But if I start off with the slide, I was a little different. Okay, anyway, that's enough thinking about that. That's too much thinking about the start of the tune. Yes, I can overthink things. Before we go into the B part, I'm going to hit the A part a little more slowly. I had too many slides, I think. A lot of people use a lot of slides in this. One ornament focused on too much is too repetitive and has no surprise to it. Yeah, there I only threw like a couple of slides in, hit more tonguing. Notice how you can distinguish the A and the B part by making different feels through combining your ornaments differently. But you get to that, and there are a lot of runs. Runs are really helpful in polkas. As you get into the second bit of the B part, I'll talk about it when I get there again. Watch those repeated notes. So the tune just would, the chord goes. This is a great opportunity. You just before that, you've had the A repeated. Throw like, it feels like a good roll opportunity. And you want to close it down there. Anyway, that's what I'm currently thinking. Let me try it on the Tony Dixon, because I don't need to keep beating it. I think I've shared kind of what I'm currently thinking. I like ornaments to accentuate. I like changing up ornaments. I like creating a different feel as you move into the different parts of the tune, because the different parts of the tune say different things. So let me try it on the Tony Dixon DX005. Okay, that might be better. That felt very stumbly. And I found myself on the high D tonguing a little more, and I did a couple of different things in that B part going into it. Instead of going up to the B, I did a quick roll off of the double A, went to the F sharp, and then back to the A, and that was kind of fun. No, I didn't go back to the A. Yeah, it might be fun. Try that one more time. Moving from one whistle to another with different breath pressure requirements is sometimes a challenge for me. Kind of feel like that's where I'm going with it. But kind of fun. I'm feeling okay. I need to close things down so I can try that again, because I feel like that last time I played it through might be what I want to do. My friends, I hope my practice session helps inspire you with your practice and to give you some ideas as to how you might want to play this beautiful polka as I went out upon the ice. Again, I'll put links to where you could get these whistles. I'll put a link to the original video. And if you just checking us out and you've not subscribed, please subscribe and join our wonderful community of folks learning the whistle. And look and listen at a bunch of people playing this tune. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling, my friends.